Most are about its role in Syria, where Moscow has emerged as the leading power. But now it's being looked at least by the Palestinian Foreign Minister, as the next hope for Israeli-Palestinian peace. Senior international affairs correspondent Owen Alterman reports.
The flags of the Arab world laid out. The foreign ministers at the round table. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov hosting a summit Tuesday with his counterparts from the Arab League. High on the agenda, the Trump administration's decision last month on the Golan Heights.
We both reject the well-known U.S. recognition of the occupied Golan Heights as Israeli territory. It violates all known UN resolutions and the UN Charter itself. It leads to increased tensions in this region.
Russia's favorable views on the Arab-Israeli conflict are getting Palestinians' attention, with the Palestinian foreign minister telling Russia's Sputnik news agency that Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas would meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if, and only if, the invitation came from Moscow. The meeting may never happen, but the statement itself is valuable to Russia. It and Tuesday's Arab League meeting show again how Russia wants to be seen as a Middle East power broker.
Russia has confirmed its offer to the Israeli and Palestinian leaders to meet on our territory without any preconditions.
Experts say that Russia wants to trade power in the Middle East for the power that Russia really wants, sway in what Russia calls its near abroad, in places like Ukraine, where Russia feels it needs to have significant influence, but where the West is challenging that influence. Russia has built a name as the key player in Syria, an essential partner for Iran, and a country that wants strong contacts with Israel. But Moscow has not forgotten the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and may be pivoting back in that direction. Owen Alterman, I-24 News.
I-24 News senior Middle East correspondent Mohammad Al-Kassim joins me in studio with further insight. Mohammad, what does an offer like having an alternative broker like Russia do for the prospects of this US peace deal, where it's relying so heavily on other Arab nations to back its deal in order to execute it? Could, in fact, these other Arab nations look at an alternative and say, all right, well, it makes the US deal less attractive?
Absolutely, but I think it's much more important for the Palestinian Authority. President Mahmoud Abbas is looking for a piece of wood to float on in this ocean of many of the American proposal, and also not so sure that he has the absolute Arab support once the Americans roll out their vision. And the Russian support, or the Russian vision, is a spoiler to the American vision, and also it's the same as the European Union or the major players in the European Unions, and it's much more important to the Palestinian Authority, to President Mahmoud Abbas, than it is to the Arab League. Let's not forget that Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, those are close allies of the U.S., and no one would even dare to think that they will turn on the United States. And that's why this meeting, at this time, it's extremely significant and crucial to the Palestinian Authority, much more than it is to the Arab League. But the Arab League wants to look like they are supportive of the Palestinian Authority position, that they are supportive of the two-state solution, and they are going to stand up to the White House expected peace plan that everyone is talking about, a lot of leaks around it. No one knows for sure what is going to be rolled out. But again, this is what the Palestinian Authority wants to see, a different alternative, an international alternative that the PA can count on.
Sure, because the Palestinian Authority has already said this deal, the US deal rather, is dead upon arrival. If the US deal does fail to be implemented or executed in whatever form it comes, would Israel feel pressured to have to sit down with Abbas, with Russia as a broker?
Absolutely not. Israel knows that the only broker out there is the United States. It's quite different from the Palestinian Authority position, where it now publicly says that the Americans are dishonest broker, that they cannot, the American administration is not the honest broker that they have always perceived it to be.
What makes that so, though, Mohammed? Why is Russia ruled out as an alternative to Israel?
It cannot apply pressure on Israel like the U.S. The U.S. can apply a lot of pressure on Israel, and also the weight of the United States. Russia is a global power, but it's not the global power that the U.S. is. The U.S. has a lot of strategic alliances in the region, and also the strategic relationship between the U.S. and Israel has its own weight, and the U.S. is the only world power, global power, that could apply enough pressure on Israel to make it maybe shift its position to the right or to the left. Not Russia, not the European Union.
The Palestinian Information Minister has come out today laying out the terms for any peace deal, no matter who it comes from. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Any real agreement should be based on the 1967 borders, West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem. This is the basis for a real peace. According to the agreement, there should be a minor swap, and on that basis we are ready to negotiate with any Israeli government, ready to accept this basis.
It's really not clear, Mohammed, that any of those terms are in fact going to be delivered in this US peace deal. The question then is, can it be implemented without Palestinian agreement or support?
No. No, despite the position of the Palestinian Authority being at its weakest right now, without their participation, without their agreeing to at least some, if not all, of the U.S. proposals, there cannot be any forward moving with this U.S. proposal. The Palestinian Authority's position, and they know it. That's why they're steadfast in their position, that they know without their participation, this plan cannot go forward.
So at the moment, the United States will just be cooking up some kind of excuse for when the Palestinians reject it.
That's true, but here's why it's so dangerous for the Palestinians. Because previously, we've seen previous U.S. administrations that they come out with their own proposals. Now, this could be good for Israel. What I mean by that is that this could be the pretext for future U.S. administrations. So we may not see the end of it now, but this could be the basis exactly for future U.S. administrations and a future maybe resolution to this conflict.
All right, Mohammad Al-Kassim.